Hey, what's shaking, everyone? So this is a lot more unscripted than normal. Take you behind the scenes here a little bit. Normally, I research my topics for a few hours, normally 2 to 3 hours, and then I write out a little bit of a script and go off of that. But here's something that I haven't let slip on the channel yet. I really love sports. I love baseball, football, basketball, mixed martial arts, and even a little bit of wrestling as well. I really enjoy all of it, but in peak 2020, of course, if things weren't going bad enough, professional sports had to get taken down. And we're just going to go through a couple of the articles here just to. I don't know if I even really need to back up my case, but might as well just go through them for fun because that's the normal style of the videos that I make here. So, first off, we're going to briefly touch on hockey here. Because at the end of, I believe it was in like October, or yeah, okay, it says here end of November, a man named Akeem Alou accused Bill Peters, he was the head coach of the Calgary Flames, of spouting racial slurs at him. And there was also another big, I guess, hazing incident is how we referred to it as, and it really turned him off to hockey. But the thing is, he was very highly touted coming into the league. Especially, he was drafted sixth overall into the, well, it's the OHL, but for anybody who doesn't know anything about hockey, it's the minor leagues, but they're still underage. So hockey's a little bit fucked up when it comes to this shit. Like, you don't go to college. You can go to college, but when you're at that age, you're already kind of semi-pro. Like, hockey's a fucking weird place. So I'll just leave it at that. And so obviously there's a considerably large hazing community within hockey. Growing up around hockey dudes, yeah, junior high school and high school, I know how fucking weird and kind of antisocial these guys are. So it's not anything to hear, yeah, you're just playing bag tag in the locker room, or I don't know, prove how manly you are by seeing if you can fit the goaltender's nuts in your mouth, or see how many nut sacks you can fit into the goalie's glove. Like, they're just fucking weird people. So, but enough about hockey. I see it every single day, all the time, and if it died out, it wouldn't bother me too much. But hey, it's wildly popular. It's one of the big four for a reason. So I know it'll eventually come around. This is just one asshole out here trying to smear a head coach who, for all intents and purposes, there's enough information on him that's been corroborated throughout the years. So, hey, if he's a piece of shit, he's a piece of shit, right? So, and Akeem Alou's also made a lot of claims that hockey's this racist or non-inclusive setting. And I'll just set the scene a little bit. Over the past 20 years, even though he just retired, in the past 20 years, there's never been a more stable presence at captain that everybody else tried to emulate on their team than a man named Jerome McGinley, who, ironically enough, was captain for those Calgary Flames for, oh geez, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but he was in a significant leadership position for the better part of 10 years, if not into 2 decades, when he was with the Calgary Flames. He wildly, it was very, very well respected by everybody in the community. And, it's because he did everything. He was well spoken at press conferences, because a lot of hockey press conferences are just, sticks on ice, full 20, and play at both ends of the ice. They're just horribly boring individuals. Kind of like this hockey segment right here. So let's move right on. Now, I know I kind of beat the dead horse with, well, to drag up a dead horse, really, it would be talking about basketball. I kind of touched on it with the LeBron James video, which I hope you guys liked. I'm very proud of it. And just to touch on the rest of the shit that goes on, I got this article here pulled up, and right at, what was that, midpoint of July, just before the NBA was just about to kick off again. Wojnarowski there, he's the man on the right, and Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri there, he sent out a memo in response to the different Black Lives Matter, social justice-y kind of slogans that the NBA players have on their jerseys, and he was just wondering, why isn't there any slogans from the other side of the aisle? Why isn't there? It's as weird as it has to be to support the troops, or Blue Lives Matter, or anything supporting authority, or just backing individuals who are putting their life on the line, or why the MLB won't call out China, hence the background that these guys are juxtaposed on. Hilarious. I just put out a Joe Biden can't speak video. Anyways, so in response to Haley just asking a question to the commissioner, Adam Silver, it wasn't even to Wojnarowski there. Wojnarowski felt the need to speak up for the NBA and all of their, oppressed millionaire players, and just say, fuck you. Now, Wojnarowski got suspended for 2 weeks, but it was 2 inconsequential weeks when it was just, everybody was, for those who don't know, for the NBA, all the players are in a bubble, so nobody contracts the commie cough or spreads it around. So they were very successful in the bubble when they instituted it all the way up to game day. They were the only major league who put this bubble into place and didn't have any positive tests come back. So yay for them, I suppose. If that's what you were aiming for, congratulations, you succeeded. But you've also succeeded in driving off every single casual viewer, any single person that might have had a passing interest in the NBA playoffs like they do every year. Because I don't have that article pulled up, and I could be asked. I remember it off the top of my head from the LeBron video, but ratings are down 40%. It's not from the teams being any worse. It could, of course, be a multitude of things, but I think smart individuals can see that it's all of the Black Lives Matter imagery and all the complaining and walking out on games. Like, what the fuck are you, 5? But I digress. Anyways, this gives me hope for the NBA. This was when the NBA started back up. Young player Jonathan Isaac refused to put on the Black Lives Matter garb. He refused to take a knee for the national anthem. And unfortunately, during the game, the poor fucker blew out his knee. And you go on Twitter afterwards or any sort of social media afterwards, and it was fucking despicable, because this guy's standing up for what he believes in. He's a very religious guy, and in his press conference afterwards, it was, I don't want to disrespect my country. It's given so much to me. Yes, I believe Black Lives Matter, but I don't believe with what the Black Lives movement stands for anymore. Hey, you know what? There's one out there. That means that there's hope. And I'll just go ahead and say right now, I think it's going to get worse for the NBA viewers-wise, and probably profitability-wise. Sorry. And then once that all kind of shakes out, once LeBron James retires, it's kind of like what you've seen with the Republican Party, if I can pivot back to politics for a hot second. When John McCain died, you've seen a mass exodus of his disciples from the Republican Party, and now it's turned Not entirely, because Mitt Romney's withered old ass is still kicking around, and a couple of guys like Jeff Flake and those never Trumpers. The fuck's the name? Lincoln Project. Those types of guys, they're still kicking around. But what would you say? Conservatively, 80-90% of the parties now populist Trump style Republicans, which is a great thing, because when was it a pejorative to be for the people by the people? But I'll digress here. Jonathan Isaac, good man. I wish him a speedy recovery and hopefully he kicks ass next year. But let's pivot quickly to... Ugh, not this. This fucking ugly dyke. Fuck her. Anyways, no offense, I think. How about the awakening of the NFL? It was a long time coming, I suppose. They've been fucking protesting Washington, formerly Redskins. I guess that's what they can go out on the indie circuit as, FKA the Redskins, but whatever. They've been pressured for as long as I can remember to change the name of their football team, and now in whatever they coined it, the current climate, it's no longer acceptable. I grew up around a bunch of natives. I'm actually a quarter native myself, and Redskins, not a pejorative to me. I've never heard it before. You know what? It sounds cool. Sounds aggressive, and that's what you want in your football teams. Now you got the likes of Alyssa Milano. She had her own fucking clothing line with the NFL, so if it's up to her, it's just going to be the Philly Greens versus the San Diego Yellow and Blues. I'm not saying it's eventually going to get that bad, but you continue on this course and that's what you're going to fucking end up with. And I love football. If you could see just off screen here, I've got a huge Baltimore Ravens and Oakland Raiders, by the way. Fuck Vegas Raiders. They are my favorite teams, and I have a signed Baltimore Ravens championship helmet from 2011 when they won the last time. It's signed by everybody, and it's my prized possession. So if any of you motherfuckers find out where I live and try to come steal it, I'm also 6'6", 225, so you can go fuck yourself. I digress. Anyways, I want to talk on my absolute passion when it comes to sports. I fucking love baseball. And favorite team's the Blue Jays. Followed not 100% closely, but relatively close is the Dodgers. And, at the height of Blue Jays' last big playoff rush, I watched every single game. I took off time to watch that ridiculous game, Game 5 against Texas in the ALDS, where Edwin hit the comeback home run and Jose Bautista, the big bat flip heard around the world with, 5 errors in one inning. It was fucking bonkers and amazing, and I'm super glad I got to witness it. And God, baseball's it's easily the first memory I've ever had. I can remember before going to kindergarten one day, Dad's falling asleep on the couch. He's got a cigarette in his hand. There's burnt. Anybody who had parents who used to smoke back in the 90s knows that there was always just little burn marks in the carpet. And I remember that vividly downstairs where we used to live. And yeah, I'd be watching a matinee game, and Dad would hate Jose Cruz Jr. with a passion. It was hilarious, and baseball's been interwoven. I played a little bit, big power first baseman, and for as long as I can remember, a Jays game's always been on in the background whenever I'm not working, or if I just wanted to relax, I'll put a game on in the background. I might watch a YouTube video, or I might watch something else, but I love baseball, and to see what it's become with players kneeling for the national anthem, for the Boston Red Sox to put up a 200-foot banner saying Black Lives Matter when you don't even fucking get it. Walking off like, man, this was the game. I understand a few guys in the NFL, but the NFL wasn't nearly as big as it was now. Broke the color barrier to begin with, but this is the league of Jackie Robinson. This is the league that, yeah, smashed the color barrier when baseball was the biggest thing in the world, in the Western world at least. And to have Adam Jones, like, I remember that when he was trying his shit when his skills were declining. He was, I forget his exact verbiage, but he was belly aching about how black players don't get treated as well as white players. And it took Tony La Russa, who revolutionized the 90s game, who was at the forefront of the A's pre-Moneyball, and then went over to the St. Louis Cardinals and took Mark McGwire and, well, has seen all the potential that a man named Albert Pujols had and turned him into a Hall of Fame first baseman. Yeah, so it took Tony La Russa to set Adam Jones straight, and then all of a sudden you get, Jackie Bradley Jr. feeling triggered and not wanting to play, and Milwaukee Brewers walking off the field, about a week ago now? On the backs of, the Jacob Blake shooting, which is, like I said in a couple videos before, totally justified, and these grown-ass millionaires, grown-ass men who should be able to form opinions for themselves, who have the spare time to read a true article from a true news source, unlike, ironic, I have the New York Times pulled up, but still, form your own fucking opinions. It's not hard. What I'm doing is not hard. I know I'm not terribly professional at it yet, but fuck, I love doing this. I don't care if 14 people watch this. It'd be more views than some of the videos I have, but whatever. And yeah, so with all this social justice shit, what do you get? Terrible ratings. Under hiatus averages for the NBA. Yeah. It says here that this, clearly an older article, but this is just for backdrops. 3 weeks ago. NHL took a hit. MLB they've been struggling to be over 1 million viewers a game, and these are not for, matchups like the Chicago White Sox and the Kansas City Royals. This is like the Braves against the Nationals. Can't crack 1 million. The only teams that are getting 1 million are the Yankees, and that's still, down significant percentage points. So, one good thing, like I also alluded to in the beginning, it's like, I used to really love the UFC. I catch it every now and then. I don't go out of my way to watch it, but if it's on, I'll watch it. I really appreciate the workmanship that these guys put in. These are top tier, super well-trained athletes that are also personable in interviews, unlike NBA players, NHL players, MLB players. They don't get personalities until they retire, for the most part. There are outliers, but that's my general opinion. But whenever you hear radio interviews or podcast interviews with UFC fighters, Bellator fighters, they all have personalities. They're all different individuals. It's one of the sports leagues out there that actually encourages, I don't know if they encourage it as much as they definitely don't go against the athletes if they speak up their mind. Like Yoel Romero is a perfect example. He's super pro Jesus, and you know what? Big ups on him, because he's not going out there saying, you have to follow this religion. But when he broke down in, I forget which fight it was, but when he's like, America is forgetting Jesus, you need to get back to Jesus. Insert other crazy shit. Is he not being true about it? Because you see the breakdown that's happening right now. It's declaring religion the nuclear family, waking up on time, working hard, as being white and should be destroyed. Kind of fucking retarded. And, especially the NBA, but MLB, NHL, they're all buying it hook, line, and sinker. And, yeah. I don't know, but my prediction for the future, even though the tone of most of this, I'm not even going to call it a video, it's just going to be a ramble. I'm not even going to bother fucking editing this. Like it or lump it, this is just how I feel as a disaffected sports fan. Somebody who's ready, willing, and able to hop back on the sports bandwagon as soon as they get their head out of their ass. But I'll just get to my opinion on what I think the future is, and stay hydrated, folks. My bad. So what I think in the future for sports. Sports is one of those few endeavors where convicted felons can come back and achieve at high levels. My favorite football player of all time is Ray Lewis. Does anybody remember what happened in, what was that, 01? Or how about Michael Vick? Dante Stallworth, was that his name? The defensive back, played for the Patriots after he ran somebody over and killed them. Something like that. But, yeah, Todd Bertuzzi in the NHL. The list goes on. I won't bore you with any more examples, but sports has a way of working itself out. Talent rises to the top. And once you get these prominent figures like LeBron James probably has, he just turned 36, or he's about to turn 36, so he's probably got another, let's say, 5 years max. Once these guys get ushered out, or once they start to notice that their bottom line is going to be taking a significant hit, then you're going to see a lot of this Black Lives Matter, a lot of this social causes get stripped away, and then we're going to return back to proper sports. Because as much of this social change, this racial inequity that all of these millionaires are spouting, at the end of the day, these are just kids who get paid a lot of money to play very silly games for all of our entertainment. And if nobody's being entertained, they're not doing their job. I think professional sports is going to correct itself. But if there's any other disaffected sports fans out there, at least take solace in the fact that, the UFC, Dana White, that motherfucker is always going to make money. He is a wizard at that. And if you remember early during the lockdown, he successfully put on one show. I forget where it was, but it was the first case of an empty arena, anything really. And it was wildly successful in the ratings from what I remember. And like, if you haven't reconnected with wrestling in a while, I'll tell you WWE's not worth it. That is a poisoned company ran by somebody who's probably less connected with reality than Joe Biden and Vince McMahon. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. Ripping up scripts the day of, writing them, and then being panned by all of your soy-filled reporters. That is another rant for another time, but if you want to check back in with wrestling, give AEW a try. They are top tier, and it's fucking insane considering what Cody Rhodes, Tony Khan, Kenny Omega, both of the Young Bucks are very left-leaning in their political persuasion, but they don't run their company like that. It's all based on talent and fan relatability, fan reaction, and engagement. It's weird how the most soy company in, professional sports, sure, I'll lump it in there, is being run the best during this time. So, hey, I'd say give the UFC a try if you haven't checked in a while, or give AEW a shot. Let the NHL, let the MLB, let the NBA bottom out, because they'll come back. They'll come back. It'll be good. But we just have to weather quite a little shitstorm here. But this video's been long enough. It's been eating away at me. And I just wanted to get it out there because I'm sure other people like me are out there. Just disaffected sports fans who long for the glory days that weren't even that long ago. So, once again, guys, I've been Don Consuelo. So, follow your gut. Get after it. Take care, everyone. Oh, peckles.